Hello there and welcome to today's video in which I'm going to attempt to make Willy Wonka, of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and of course played by the amazing Gene Wilder, because you know that's the only interpretation of Willy Wonka that you'd want to see. Well, certainly for me anyway. I wasn't a big fan of the Johnny Depp version, I have to say. So I'm just going to start my model off with the heads as usual, so just spending a bit of time on the likeness. I have to say, while I was working on the heads, that I realised that Gene Wilder has got a really difficult face to work with. It just happens, you know, some people are easier to work with than others, but yeah, he I don't know what it is with some people. Maybe it's because I'm a little out of practice, you know, I've not made a model in a few weeks, so yeah, we'll just see how it goes. It's a good exercise just to keep creative anyway, isn't it? So just going to move on to the base now and to make his boots. And I could just kind of build up from there really and work on his trousers next. So just some facts about Gene Wilder and Willy Wonka. And interestingly, I didn't realise this, but Gene Wilder isn't actually called Gene Wilder, or wasn't called Gene Wilder. It's really hard to talk about Gene Wilder in past tense actually, because he's such a big character that I just always think that he's still around really. So yeah, my tenses are going to be all over the place today, I imagine. But his name originally was Jerome Silberman, so he obviously went on to create the name Gene Wilder for his professional work, and you know, it's a really great name. I think it's really memorable. And I looked up some facts about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory as well, obviously the movie version, not the book. And interestingly, I noticed that all 6 members of Monty Python all desperately wanted to play Willy Wonka, but it wasn't meant to be because the producers of the film deemed them, you know, not well known enough really. They wanted somebody with a higher profile, so I think they considered Ron Moody, who I think would have kind of worked in a way. I think because of his role as Fagin, you can kind of see some similarities there. And John Pertwee was also considered. And I think Roald Dahl himself was really, really keen on getting Spike Milligan for the role. But for me, I think, you know, Gene Wilder was so incredible. It'd be really kind of difficult to see anybody else try and kind of replicate the character really. For me, it didn't really work with Johnny Depp really. So I'm just moving on to his waistcoat here, so I'm making it all nice and floral in purpley and pink tones. So on its release, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory really wasn't a success at all, which is kind of incredible to think, because it's one of the staple films of probably everybody's youth really. But it thankfully went on to build an audience, and you know, it's no surprise as to why really. It's certainly one of my favourite films, or certainly was when I was a youngster. So I'm going to have my Willy Wonka hold the daffodil cup and saucer that he drinks from, just because it's probably a little more interesting than a cane. So I'm just going to put together a little daffodil with some yellow polymer clay here. So it seems that Roald Dahl certainly was no fan of the film, even with Gene Wilder playing the role of Willy Wonka. I think he felt that there was too much emphasis on the character of Willy Wonka when he wanted the kind of onus of the film really to settle on Charlie, but you know, each to their own. I guess it was his creation, so I'm sure he had his own sort of ideas as to how it would work on film. So here I'm just working on putting his arms together just so that they can hold the daffodil cup and saucer. If you're new to my channel, my name's Lizzie and I'm a polymer clay artist and illustrator, and I tend to say I make weekly videos about my polymer clay sculptures, but at the moment I'm not sure how often they'll be because I've had some kind of health problems going on. So I'm sure this video will be uploaded in a couple of weeks really, because I'm taking a little break from YouTube at the moment. So yeah, this is Lizzie in the past at the moment. But if you like what you see, by all means go and hit the subscribe button, and remember to hit that bell for notifications as well. So when Tim Burton's version of Willy Wonka came out, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I can't remember what he called it actually, but Gene Wilder was no fan of Burton's work either. It seems like a bit of a hangover from Dahl not liking the Mel Stewart version, but Gene Wilder really did not like Burton's work and called it an insult. So you know, he was no fan of that particular version of Willy Wonka. It's really interesting how people get really protective of their own work, isn't it? And you know, no surprise really. I think every artist has their own kind of ideas about what their work should look like, and if somebody else is kind of misrepresenting it in any way, then yeah, it's a bit tricky really. I don't know why, that I seem to be focusing on kind of nostalgic characters over recent months, but I'm really not a nostalgic person, so it's, you know, kind of interesting. Perhaps my brain really wants to focus on faces that I know a little better. Who knows? So here he is, all done. So now I've baked him for the final time, and I'm pretty pleased with the model itself, and particularly the hair, but I have to say the likeness could be a little better, but you know, as I said, some people's faces are easier than others. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.